İyi ki geldik. Çok teşekkür ederiz.
Burası aynı zamanda babamın ortağı olduğu restoranlardan birisi.
Aa, öyle mi? Bilmiyorduk Tuncay Bey.
Vallahi ben de duydukça şaşırıyorum. Başa diyorum ki şuraya gidelim. Biz oraya ortağız diyor. Bizim oteller kadar onların da restoranları var.
Ne kadar güzel maşallah.
Teşekkür ederim.
Maşallah. Ben geberteceğim bunu ama ya. Gecikmem dedi. Bak kaç oldu saat gelmedi daha.
Anneciğim saat de erken gelir birazdan.
The Turkish television drama Kızılcık Şerbeti is entering another period of major change, and this time one of the most recognizable young characters in the series is at the center of the conversation. Selin Türkmen, who has played Kimin since the early stages of the series, is leaving the production once again. Unlike a simple character exit, however, the story of Kimin is reportedly continuing. This means that the audience is not necessarily saying goodbye to Kimin herself. Instead, viewers are preparing to see a completely different actress take over a character who has already developed a strong identity in the eyes of the audience. The development has created a difficult question for fans. Who will become the new Kimin? Reports published during the fourth season finale period confirmed that Selin Türkmen would leave the series and that the production was looking for another actress to take over the roles in the fifth season. That distinction is extremely important. Kimin is not simply a supporting character who appeared for a few episodes. Over the years, viewers watched her grow, make difficult choices, experience relationships, leave the country, return home, and become considerably more confident. For many viewers, therefore, Kimin and Selin Türkmen became almost inseparable. Replacing the actress while keeping the character alive is one of the riskiest decisions a long-running television drama can make. And that is precisely why the new Kimin has become one of the biggest questions surrounding the fifth season. Selin Türkmen is leaving Kimin behind. Selin Türkmen's departure was first widely reported in May 2026 as Kızılcık Şerbeti approached the end of its fourth season. According to reports, the actress would leave the production with the 138th episode, which marked the fourth season finale. The news came from entertainment journalist Birsen Altuntaş and was subsequently reported by several Turkish media outlets. The departure was particularly notable because this was not Türkmen's first exit from the series. She had previously left the show and later returned. That history made the latest announcement even more interesting. When a character disappears temporarily and then returns, audiences usually remain open to another comeback. But reports surrounding the latest development described Türkmen's departure as another major farewell and indicated that the production wanted to continue Kimin with a different performer. In other words, the character would remain relevant while the actress would change. That is a very different situation from simply writing a character out of the script. Why is Kimin being recast? There are several possible reasons why a production might choose to recast an established character. The first is the continuing importance of the character to the story. Reports indicate that the production did not intend to completely remove Kimin from the narrative. Instead, the character would continue in the fifth season with another actress. This suggests that the writers still see value in Kimin's family relationships and dramatic potential. Kimin is closely connected to Kıvılcım's family. Because of that connection, removing her completely could eliminate an important storytelling avenue. A recast allows the writers to preserve those relationships while giving the character a new on-screen interpretation. That is likely to be one of the biggest reasons the production chose recasting instead of ending Kimin's story. The character of Kimin has changed dramatically. One reason the casting decision is so sensitive is that Kimin herself has undergone major development. When viewers first met her, she was considerably younger and more innocent. She was portrayed as a young woman still discovering the world around her. As the story progressed, however, her life became much more complicated. Her romantic relationships, family conflicts, educational experiences, and changing social environment gradually transformed her. Selin Türkmen herself previously discussed the evolution of Kimin and described how the character developed from an innocent schoolgirl into a much more assertive and self-confident woman. In an interview published in 2026, Türkmen explained that Kimin had gone through significant changes over the course of the series. That evolution is important when considering the recast. The new actress will not simply be asked to imitate Selin Türkmen. She will have to understand a character who already possesses a history. She will inherit years of emotional memories, relationships, and audience expectations. That makes the role considerably more difficult than introducing an entirely new character. Selin Türkmen and Kimin became closely associated. For many viewers, the name Kimin immediately brings Selin Türkmen to mind. This is a common phenomenon in successful television dramas. When an actor plays the same character for several years, audiences gradually stop seeing the actor and character as separate identities. The performer becomes the character. The character becomes the performer. That relationship can make recasting extremely challenging. Viewers may initially compare every expression, every line delivery, and every emotional reaction of the new actress with Türkmen's previous performance. Even small differences could generate discussion online. Some viewers may immediately embrace the change, others may reject it, some may simply need time. This is particularly true for a series such as Kızılcık Şerbeti, where character relationships are central to the drama. What happened to Selin Türkmen? Selin Türkmen became widely known through her performance as Kimin. She was born in Izmir in 2000, according to Turkish media profiles, and has worked in television and theatre. Reports also describe her as having an academic background in law and experience in acting and voice work. Her television career included an appearance in Sen Kal Kapimi before Kızılcık Şerbeti brought her much broader recognition. Her filmography also includes Karadut and 3,391 kilometre. Her departure from Kızılcık Şerbeti does not necessarily represent an end to her acting career. In fact, reports in May 2026 indicated that Türkmen had signed a one-year advertising agreement with a jewellery brand after her departure from the series became known. This suggests that she remains active professionally and may have new opportunities ahead. The most important question: who will play the new Kimin? This is where the story becomes complicated. Several reports confirmed that the production was looking for another actress for Kimin. However, the early reports did not provide a definitively confirmed name. Birsen Altuntaş reported that a new actress was being sought for the role. Other Turkish outlets repeated the same information, explaining that the character would continue but that another performer would take over. Therefore, headlines suggesting that the replacement name was already definitively confirmed should be treated carefully, unless supported by a direct announcement from the production or a highly reliable entertainment journalist. At the time of the initial reports, the casting process was still described as ongoing. That means fans should be cautious about social media claims naming actresses without reliable sourcing. Why fans are so interested in the new actress? The audience's interest is understandable. Kimin is not merely a name on the cast list. She is part of one of the central family structures of Kızılcık Şerbeti. Her connection with Kıvılcım gives her a direct emotional role in the story. Her experiences also allow the series to explore generational differences, relationships, family expectations, and personal independence. Because of this, replacing Kimin could affect much more than one character. It could influence several storylines at once. The new actress will have to establish believable chemistry with the actors playing Kimin's family members. She will also have to convince long-time viewers that this is still the same person they have been following. That is a major challenge. The 5th season begins with a different Kimin. The fifth season is therefore expected to present viewers with a familiar character wearing an unfamiliar face. This type of transition can be emotionally strange. Imagine watching a character for years and suddenly seeing someone else play her. At first, viewers may focus more on the actor than the story. They may ask, does she look like Kimon? Does she sound like Kimon? Does her personality feel right? Does she have the same chemistry with the other characters? Only after several episodes can the audience begin to judge the new performance independently. This is why the production's casting decision is so important. Recasting can either save a story or create a new problem. Television history is full of recasting decisions. Sometimes audiences eventually accept the replacement. Sometimes the new actor creates an entirely new interpretation that becomes successful in its own right. But there are also cases where viewers never accept the change. The outcome depends on several factors. The first is casting, the second is writing, the third is timing, and the fourth is performance. If the new actress has strong chemistry with the existing cast and the writers give Kimon meaningful material, viewers may gradually accept her. But if the character receives weak writing or the new performer is constantly compared with Turkmen, the change could become a recurring source of controversy. Kimon's story is more important than her face. One argument in favor of recasting is that characters ultimately belong to stories. Actors bring them to life, but the writers create the circumstances that define them. Kimon's relationships, family ties, and emotional history can continue even if the performer changes. From this perspective, the fifth season could give Kimon a fresh interpretation without erasing everything that came before. The new actress could bring different emotional colors to the character. She could make Timon stronger. She could make her more mature. She could emphasize vulnerability. Or she could create an interpretation that audiences never expected. That possibility is one of the most interesting aspects of the change. The audience may need time. One of the biggest mistakes viewers can make is judging a replacement after only a few minutes of screen time. The new Kimon will enter a role that comes with enormous expectations. No actress could realistically reproduce every detail of another performer's interpretation, and perhaps she should not. A successful recast should not necessarily be a perfect imitation. Instead, the new actress should make the audience believe that the character's personality is continuing. The goal should be continuity of character rather than imitation of actor. That distinction could determine whether the fifth season Kimon succeeds. Selin Turkmen's legacy as Kimon. Regardless of who takes over the role, Selin Turkmen has already left her mark on the character. She played Kimon through several important stages of the story. The character evolved from a young and relatively innocent girl into a woman capable of making difficult decisions. Turkmen's performance helped communicate those changes. Her departure therefore marks the end of one chapter in Kimon's story. But it does not necessarily have to mean the end of